lowered the Derp star's mass, so it spins and flies much faster. It spawns bumper ships around you that despawn when they're too far away. The spawn cap is set to 100, and it doesn't seem to be lagging. Bouncing off a bumper destroys it and increases your score, which is displayed at the top. It resets to 0 when you restart the game. I put a link to the GitHub project in the description if you want to check it out. In the thruster class, I corrected the impulse offset to global position minus the Derp stars. The documentation says to use apply force for constant movement, but I want the force to change as it rotates, so I'd have to subtract the previous vector and apply a new one every time it turns. It makes more sense to me to apply impulse scaled by delta instead. I also added an active flag, which is set by the activate and deactivate functions. The toggle function switches between these two states. I enabled physics material override on the Derp star, setting friction to 0 and bounce to 1. Then I turned the mass down to 0.1 to increase speed. I also enable contact monitor and make sure the contacts reported is at least 1. Now it will emit a body-entered signal when colliding with another rigid body. This connects to the main class for collision handling. If the collider is a bumper, add 50 points, destroy it, and update the bumper count. Add points increases the player's score by the amount given. Then emit an update signal, which is connected to the overlay canvas. This changes the score label display value. The HUD control node is set to default window size and anchored in the corners so it can stretch. Points is anchored slightly below the top margin with center alignment. Make sure HUD is behind the pause menu so we can still press the buttons. The bumper ship is a rigid body as well, added to the bumper group. The gravity and friction are at 0 and the bounce is 1. I left the mass at 1 so it launches the player further. To generate a collision shape, select the image, click Sprite at the top, and choose Create Collision Polygon Sibling. Adjust the settings and confirm to automatically create the shape. I reused the thrusters from player, spaced evenly on the tail fins. On ready, activate the top thruster. Then toggle them with a timer so the ships pivot like the flippers in pinball. I added a remote transform node under Derp star with only position update enabled. I linked it to a 2D node with the bumper spawner area as a child. This makes it follow the player without affecting rotation. It has a rectangle collision shape with extents at 2000 for a total height and width of 4000. I connect the bumper spawner's body exited signal to itself. This removes any bumpers that are too far away from the player and updates the count so new bumpers can be spawned. On ready, I spawn the max count of 100 bumpers on the map. I have a timer that ticks every 0.2 seconds connected to the area. On timeout, if count is less than max, spawn a new bumper. This function makes a new instance of striped bumper and sets the position. In Generate Chords, I get the bottom left corner by subtracting the area extents from the global position. Then generate a random number less than height or width and offset by the minimum. After setting position, I make sure the bumper is off screen or re-roll the chords until it is. we want them to fly in from the edges of the screen, not just appear in the middle. I've set the inner x and y constants to half of full screen size plus a buffer. Add and subtract the inner limits from global position to find the no spawn zone. The validator only returns false if both x and y are within range. And finally, I randomize the rotation and emit the spawn bumper signal. I've connected this and the update count signal to the main class. Update count sets the count value to the number of children in bumper list. Spawn bumper adds the node as a child of bumper list and calls update count. Bumper list is just a 2D node that I use to manage the bumpers. I hope you enjoyed the Derp Star update, and I would love to hear what you think of it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.